Now back to the Democratic leadership. Adam Schiff may be running for the Senate, not running for a role in the House leadership. Politico reports that Schiff has decided not to seek that top leadership post in Congress, but Kevin McCarthy maybe could clip his wings before he makes that run. The question is, will he? When Nancy Pelosi stripped Marjorie Taylor Greene of her committee assignments, Speaker-to-be Kevin McCarthy said in a floor speech before that sham vote that, quote, "If this is the new standard, I look forward to continuing the standard." Now, Schiff sits on the powerful House Intelligence Committee, and he has access to sensitive information that other members of Congress do not. He's also been busted for lying on multiple occasions, including that whopper where he fabricated parts of President Trump's phone call with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Even CNN reported at the time that, quote, he didn't make clear, which words he was taking directly from Trump's comments in the rough transcripts, which words were his own analysis, and which words were meant to be, quote, parody. He later said the whole thing was parody after he got caught lying. Now, joining us now to talk more about all this is Florida Congressman Greg Steube. He's a member of the House Judiciary and Foreign Affairs Committee. Great to have you with us, Congressman.
Hi, Congressman.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Good to see you.
So much to talk to. We'll get to Nancy Pelosi in a second, but I want to start with Adam Schiff since we were just talking about that. Do you expect Kevin McCarthy to strip Adam Schiff of his committee assignment? Some people are calling for this.
Yeah, absolutely. Kevin McCarthy has said that. Along with him will be Eric Swalwell, will also be removed from the Intelligence Committee. And I'm on Judiciary and Foreign Affairs. I've actually asked for the briefing from the FBI as it relates to Swalwell's involvement in a Chinese spy, and they refused to give me that information. But McCarthy has gotten that information and has stated that he will no longer serve on the Intelligence Committee as well. So you can expect that to happen when McCarthy gets those gavel.
There's new management in the House of Representatives.
And they're wasting no time. Congressman Steube, your reaction to some of the evidence laid out today by James Comer and Jim Jordan. Specifically, they want to get these bank, records, which they say they always could get access to before. But interestingly enough, when Biden took over, no longer can they access these. Yeah. So what did you make of what they laid out for the media today?
Well, again, so different than how Democrats run their so-called sham investigations. We actually present the evidence first. We have sent over 500 letters from the Judiciary Committee to the administration demanding certain documents and requests for information. Of course, none of that has been provided, but that changes significantly when we get the power of the gavels in January and actually have the ability to legally subpoena the information that we're requesting, subpoena the deposition of these individuals, subpoena under oath these individuals, and not just before the open committee, but actual depositions, cross-examination where we have plenty of time to dive into the details and get the evidence, and then show it to the American people the corruptness that has been going on in this White House, everything from immigration to foreign dealings, and put that before the American people.
And Comer said directly that Biden is the big guy, Congressman Steube.
Well, not only that, they have evidence that, his cell phone number was being provided, that he was involved in negotiations and discussions. So again, once we get that financial information, can subpoena some of these financial records to see how the money moved around, money that went to Hunter for some of these dealings that then was transferred to the president. This is using your official position to make money. That is completely illegal. It's a violation of federal law. Mr. Comer today laid out the different areas of law, everything from wire fraud to conspiracy that they've committed, that we're going to lay that evidence before the American people, do the investigations right. And unfortunately, we have a corrupt DOJ, but we're going to be working on that as well from the House perspective, and lay that up for prosecution referrals.
All right, Congressman, we also wanted to ask you about, with Republicans now in the majority in the House, a slim majority, give us your the level of support that exists among the conference for continuing this support of Ukraine. Joe Biden talked about another tranche of billions of dollars. Do you still support funding the war in Ukraine?
No, I voted for the last 2 or 3. I voted against the last 2 or 3 funding measures to Ukraine for the very reason why we have no oversight. We have no accountability for that money. I met with some German officials this week who told me that weapons that they transferred to Ukraine were ended up in Belgium. We have reports of Ukrainian oligarchs building and buying houses in Switzerland. There was a blank check that was given to the Ukrainians. I voted against the last 3 tranches. You're going to see a very different approach to funding in Ukraine that you haven't seen with a Democratic Congress.
Would your viewpoint on this change if there were better oversight? Because this is something else that I talked to Congressman Comer about, getting some oversight of how this money is being used. If there were more oversight of money going to Ukraine, would you change your opinion?
Well, I think until we get the gavels, we're not going to get a lot of those answers, and it's going to take time. I think right now pausing any supplemental assistance to the Ukrainians until we get those answers would be a very smart approach. The American people are more concerned about America First agendas, what's happening on the border, things like that, than spending $65 billion and handing that in a blank check to the Ukrainians with zero oversight and accountability.
All right, we're getting a feel for how things have already changed on Capitol Hill with the Republicans in control of the House. We appreciate your time. Congressman Greg Steube from Florida, thanks so much.